Hello, welcome back to the channel, everyone. We're actually talking about a Spurs win before an international break. Can you believe it? It's the first time in about 2 years we're actually talking about a Spurs win before the players head off to play for their respective countries. So it's just, that was a huge, huge win today. 2-1, of course, to Spurs. Really gritty, battling performance. Wasn't perfect, of course, but things with Spurs rarely are. Really enjoyed that. It was a bit nervy at the end, I have to say. But as I say, welcome back to the channel. We're going to get into it today. Another edition of the Spurs Chat podcast. As I say, we're live on YouTube, X, and Facebook as always. And if you do get a minute, top left-hand corner of the screen, there's a little QR code. If you could scan that and vote for us at the Football Content Awards, that would be absolutely fantastic. So before I introduce the guests, let's get into the match facts and stats. As I say, 2-1 to Spurs today. Goals from Matisse Tell and Mohamed Kudus for Tottenham Hotspur, with Okafor striking in the 34th minute for Leeds. Match momentum for those viewers viewing rather than listening. You can see the momentum chart here for Leeds actually really strong towards the end, and Spurs actually wouldn't say held on in the end, but really sat back and just saw that out. And we wouldn't have done that in previous seasons, I would suggest. Match stats here, 56.6% possession to Leeds, to Spurs 43.4%. XG Leeds 1.66 to 0.52 for Spurs. 16 shots for Leeds, 9 for Tottenham. 4 shots on target for Leeds, 3 for Spurs. Touches inside the opposition box. Leeds had 21, Spurs had 18. 1 goalkeeper save from Leeds, 3 from Vicario. 10 fouls committed for Leeds, 12 for Tottenham. 4 corners for Leeds and 1 for Spurs. And here are all the attacking in-depth stats here on the screen if you want to have a look. 16 shots for Spurs, for Leeds, beg your pardon, 9 for Tottenham. As I say, 4 on target and 3 for Spurs. Shots off target, Leeds had 10 and Spurs had 4. Attempts from outside the box, 5 apiece. Hit the woodwork once each. One-on-one attempts, 1 for Leeds, none for Spurs, which is interesting. And total offsides, 1 for Leeds, 2 for Spurs. And as I say, XG there, Leeds had the higher XG. So let's, no further ado, let's introduce our lovely guests for today. We've got 3 guests as always. We've got Darren Altman back with us. How are you, Darren?
I'm very well, Chris. How are you?
I'll be whatever you want me to be, sweetheart.
There you go, darling. Do you know what? I'm absolutely buzzing. That was brilliant. It was an ugly win. It wasn't pretty, but we got it done, and I think that is, as they said on TV, it's significant. It was great. You know, it's the first win before an international break in. Was it 2 years, Craig? You're the stat man with that.
I think it's October 2023. I think, yes.
There you go. And I just think it was a really good win away from home. We soaked up a lot of pressure. He made some really good substitutions. I could see exactly what his trainer thought was with all the substitutions. They made sense to me. I think it was a really good win. Really good. I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, same as me. And Si, hello, welcome back. How are you feeling? And what
really
your
good, mate.
Give us your thoughts on the game in a little bit, but how are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Enjoying life in the sun at the moment. So if you're in the rain at home, sorry about that. I'm loving the sunshine. So I've just got one little message I'd like to put out there, Craig, if I may. And that's the people on Facebook and X that were moaning about the team before a ball was kicked and having a go at Tell and Odeberg, etc. Shut up. Shut up. Just let them have a chance. Hopefully Tell's stuck 2 fingers up to him today anyway. And I thought his general play was good. And, so I'm really, really pleased. I thought the left-hand side functioned today, which was good. And we managed to close the game out without too much stress.
Absolutely. We've got a little bit of feedback. So if one person's talking, if people don't mind going on mute, I think whether it's just me getting that bit of feedback. And Jamie, how are you?
I'm very well. Yeah, nice to see you, Craig. Nice to be back here on the podcast. And nice to be back in a positive mindset. I echo what Darren said. I thought that was a little bit patchy in parts, but we got the win. I thought there's so many positives to take from it. And let's not forget, Ellen Road is a difficult place to go to. The atmosphere was electric, I thought, for the game. That's a tough place. You know, many teams will go up there and fail and get rolled over down to the pressure. I thought there was so many positives to take from it. And we've had enough negativity in the last sort of God knows how long. So let's focus on the positives.
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely. Nice to be back, and also nice to be back on with a proper host as well.
Yeah.
Let's hope he doesn't watch this back. Darren, let's come around. Do you know what? I'm happy. I'm really pleased because, as I say, we got that win before the international break. That was like a curse, a hoodoo. It was the sword of Damocles hanging over your head, and we've finally broken that. And that's significant to me. I think it really is significant because the players will know all this stuff. And, to break that hoodoo, I think it's fantastic. Darren, give us your more in-depth thoughts on the game as a whole.
Well, I thought it wasn't a massively gung-ho performance. I think it was perfunctory. We did what we needed to do. I agree with Si. I thought the left-hand side was stable, some lovely link-up play with Udogie and Odebear and down the left-hand side. I thought Udogie had a good game. I thought he made a really good case for him to start. I like the idea that Thomas Frank, because he didn't have to necessarily rest players for Tottenham because everyone's going away for the international break. But he's chopped and changed. He gave Spence a rest today and Bergvall and Sarr a rest, right? He brought him on later. But I just liked what he was doing. I just thought it was I like the two defensive midfielders sitting in front of our back four. Well, the two wing backs. I like the fact that because we were away and Leeds are a handful, he put Betancur and Paulinho in there. I thought Kudos he was man of the match, but he was great, really good. Tell got his goal. He didn't light the world alight. I think there was some stat that after 20 minutes, I think he touched the ball 3 times, or he didn't have an amazing game prior to his goal, but he got his goal. And I just think it was a really solid performance. Yes, they came at us in the last 10 minutes, but they're at home and you expect them to. But just good, solid performances. And like I said to you when I messaged you, Craig, we did that. Don't forget, without Decky, Maddison and Solanke. We get them back and we are going to be a force because there's 2 creative players there and a real good number 9. And I think that if we can go to Leeds and win with not a makeshift team, but not a full 11, I'm just really pleased. I'm really pleased. I thought it was a good performance. And one final thing, I like the idea now that because players like Tell and Kudos and Odebear and Udogie, when they come into the team, they have really good games. I like the idea that gives Thomas Frank a bit of a headache now. I do like that. It's great. It's what we've been calling out for seasons.
Yeah, indeed. Si, what's your views on the game overall?
Well, I think for me, Destiny Udogie was pushing for man of the match for me today because I thought he was really good defensively and he was really creative going forward. So it's easy to give it to a forward who scores the goals, but I just thought Udogie was really good today. And I said the left side worked well for me. And one thing I do like is when you've got players that kind of go inside, so Odebear likes to come inside a bit. If you've got the balance of Udogie on the left who can go on the outside, the Leeds team didn't know which way we were going to attack them from the left-hand side. So I thought that was, really positive. And also, for me, I thought the first half, we were really creative going forward, but the defending was a little bit lax at times, which has been the reverse of what we've had. And then in the second half, I didn't like us sitting back, but I understand it. And also, you showed that momentum swing at the start. I think you invite teams on when you kind of change the performance. But I think that's down to the fact that of the personnel he's got, as Darren has just said, that you can't really replace like for like in the positions that he wanted to swap around. And also, I thought it was a great tactical shift by him when they went to, if you're effectively a 3-5-2, we more or less did the same. So we matched them up, and I thought, one or two little scrapes aside, we closed the match out really easily. And also, I know it's a common theme, but bloody VAR is ridiculous because, there was one challenge where Polina didn't do anything and he gets a free kick against him. Where does this, stopping a clear and obvious error? Is it only when there's a goal? Because things like that just drive me bloody mad, if I'm honest. It led to Leeds having an attack, which is anyway, I don't get it. But overall, I'm really pleased, and like I said, it was lovely to see the creativity in the first half and half of the second after we made the changes. And the defending picked up in the second half, and so we closed the game out easily.
Yeah, I personally think the left-hand side, certainly the top side of it, we're still crying out for somebody to grab the ball by the horns and grasp the nettle, so to speak. I still don't think Odebear's quite doing it for me. I think with a pucker left winger like a Sonny in his heyday, I think we could be an absolute force. Let me show you this, Jamie. The Premier League table at the moment, obviously as it stands, teams still to play behind us, and we could be overtaken by a couple, but that looks good, doesn't it, after 7 games?
It looks great. I mean, we have to bear in mind that Bournemouth and Sunderland are also very close behind us, so it's early days, but it looks brilliant. And listening to the chaps give their analysis there, I think what I really like and what I'm really encouraged about is, we've had a season or a season and a half really where we haven't had anyone leading us and willing to adapt. Whereas, as Sides just said there, we're adapting as teams change their formation. We're not, Thomas Frank's not afraid to adapt us, to make changes, to go, well, let's see this out. And that's exactly what we've done. It wasn't the prettiest of performances. You could pick it apart and find some negatives. I thought Udogie was great. I actually thought Van der Ven played well. I think maybe as a collective defensive unit, we weren't what we have been. But the top end of the left-hand side, I would say, I think Xavi Simons, when he gets going, when he really does start, and he's starting to show little glimpses, I don't mind him trying a Rabona. Yeah, he gives the ball away, but I don't mind that, because that's when that starts coming off, which it will, because that's the sort of quality he's got, then we're going to laud him for it. So we can't be chastising players, for trying that, for having that inventiveness. But I just think it was so refreshing to have, to look at a team that's going, all right, well, we're 2-1 up now, so let's change our formation. I think my only thing was I love Paulinho. I think I've wanted him at Spurs for a long, long time. When we were linked with him, first of all, I mean, he's an absolute liability. He's going to pick you up a yellow card, but watching him play, I wonder if we can then, because we are definitely missing Madders and Decky as well. And I think Betancur now needs to take a bit of responsibility in moving that ball forward a little bit. I thought we sat a little bit too defensively at times in the middle of the park. But, I'm nitpicking. We've seen out, as I said, a difficult fixture in the changeable weather, loads of rain. The Leeds fans are up for it. They're singing. I thought our fans did us proud. You could hear them all the way through. To go up there, a buoyant Leeds team with an amazing record at Ellen Road, we've gone up there and we've sort of gone and shoplifted it and come home with the win. Many seasons gone by, we wouldn't have done that. So any Spurs fan moaning about anything needs to really have a little look at the history books, I think.
I think you're right, Jamie. And I personally don't think we would have won that last season. I don't think we would have held on last season either. Cuti Romero just on X has posted, massive win away from home, buzzing to get back to winning ways. Quality from all the team today as Spurs official. Big love to the fans for the support. See you soon. So obviously Romero's very happy. It was important that we got our captain back today, Darren, wasn't it, really? I thought Romero was pretty good today.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. And Van der Ven, Mickey had a great game. I think we're solid. I think we are solid. There were a couple of instances where I thought our defence could have got closer. I thought we gave them quite a lot of space in and around our box. But yeah, fundamentally, it's they're very, very solid. It's like for God's sake, the Dutch guys. You know what my memory's like.
Alderweireld.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Tongan and Toby.
Alderweireld. Yeah.
That partnership worked well for us, and it was a fortress. And I think that Romero and Van der Ven, they work so well together. And I got to say, when Danzo came on, I thought he was great. A couple of really good headers and hassled the defence. He did exactly the job that he was brought on to do. I think, for God's sake, what's his face? Who just got engaged? My memory's dreadful.
Johnson.
Dragusin, thank you. Sorry, guys. My memory's like a sieve. I see the picture, I see the faces, and I can't think. Dragusin's going to have a really hard time unless he's going to rotate and play him for like the Carabao Cup. I don't see how he gets in, actually, because I think Danso makes a really, really good case now. And I think our defence are very, very solid. I'm really happy. Really happy.
I think you made a good point there, Darren. Actually, the thing with me when Danzo comes on, in the past we've had, that could be an issue, bit of a drop off in quality, and I think Danzo coming in. Somebody in the week I saw on X was criticising Danzo's. I thought Danzo was pretty good in the week, to be honest with you. And like you say, when he came on today, we went to a back three. You don't worry about it. We just look solid. He's an absolute beast, Danzo. But it really quite impressed. Si, what do you make of? Let's stay with the defence for a minute. What do you make of Mickey van der Ven today? Definitely more aggression to his play, but controlled aggression, and he's is becoming a leader, and you can see why he's part of that leadership group.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, his pace and his defensive qualities or covering have never been in doubt, have they? Let's be honest. And he is adding that aggression and that steel to his game. And I think his comment about, Romero makes him more aggressive and he makes Romero more calm, I think kind of showed, although Romero did get his obligatory stupid yellow card, but hey-ho, that's part of aggression in somebody. So for me, he's really good. The only thing I did have a little bit of a problem with in the first half when Roden hit the post and the goal was that we seemed to lose players off the back of us. So the Roden header came because a doggy didn't see him coming behind him, and the goal, Porro didn't see Okafor coming behind him. I think that's just the only critique I would give the game today. But the defence, I say in the first half was okay. In the second half, it was brilliant. And if you've got that option to bring Danso on, then, to close the game out and we go to 3-5-2, it's perfect. I'll be interested to see, it's not just Dragusin who I think's got a fight to get in the team, but you've also got Takai as well. So I'm quite fascinated to see how he's going to fit into the scheme as well. So look, we're kind of stacked at centre half. Whether I think they're all the right ones we need or not, another matter. But I think, we've got a solid base there. And, whenever Jed Spence plays, I don't think he's a step down from either a doggy or Porro. I think Porro was slightly more suspect with his defending today and gave the ball away a couple of times. But on the whole, as I say, they're doing, if you look at the goals we've conceded this year in number, it's just way, way different to last year. And that's only because of the tweaks of, putting a number 6 in front of them and then the discipline and the patterns of the players around. And one thing I did like, and I kind of liked it when I've seen it happen in other games, is when one fullback went forward, the other one sat a little bit. That's just proper, pragmatic, sensible football, and not gung ho. Let's all charge up the pitch and see what we can do, like the under-11s in a playground. But yeah, I think for me, coming back to your main point, Craig, Van der Ven is a leader. He should be in the leadership group, and I only see him going from strength to strength. And I also think it's a play to say you are cherished at this club. Don't even think about going anywhere else.
Yeah, definitely. Jamie, what did you make of the side touched him Udogie today? Well, we covered Udogie and Porro. What did you make of both of their performances? I thought Udogie was really good.
I thought Udogie was excellent. I thought he showed signs of his form when he first sort of broke into the side at the start of that season. I think he's tough, he's powerful, he goes forward, he defends. I think he's got one big weakness, which he does let people creep over his shoulder. He did it at Brighton that time. You know, I think we were 2 or 3-0 up, 2-0 up, weren't we? Half time, and he came out, and people just, I don't know whether it's a positional thing, but I thought he was excellent. I thought, yeah. Porro, I love Pedro Porro is a classic example of someone who won me round completely. I was not convinced at all when we first got him, and then he became, first name on the team sheet territory. I don't think it was his greatest game today, but I think he still provides, solidity. I think he's lovely with the ball at his feet. He's a threat. He defends well, and he puts in a real shift. Even that's what you want from players, isn't it? When they're not maybe firing on all cylinders, you want to see them putting in a shift. But I thought Udogie was excellent, and I echo what I highlighted Van de Ven. For me, Van de Ven was up there for man of the match. For me, I don't know who did get it, but
Kudos.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that either. But I think Van de Ven is just the biggest problem we have with Van de Ven is keeping hold of him. As the years and months roll on, I think I don't think there's many teams in the top end of the Premier League or the top end of the Champions League that wouldn't be looking at him just for his pace alone. But he's now becoming an all-round defender. That aggression where he nips in front and wins the ball. He's not having to use his recovery pace as much because he's getting in. He's aggressive. He absolutely bullied Calvert-Lewin today in the first 20 minutes. Calvert-Lewin was hobbling. He was, Van de Ven gave him a little glance and wandered off as if to say you're in a game. And I think, I think our biggest problem with Van de Ven is, well, obviously the fitness thing, but hopefully this new regime keeps him fit, but us keeping him in a Spurs shirt. So get him on as long a contract as we can, I think. But I thought the back four. The only thing I'd say about the back four that was different, I thought they were a little bit disjointed in parts. Whereas I think there were some individual performances, but as a collective four, it wasn't the best. But it was a little bit leaky at times compared to how it has been when they're all functioning properly. I'll pose the question though. I know we're saying Danso does all right coming in that 3. If Van de Ven or Romero get injured, we have a problem for me. Because if you're looking at Danso or Dragusin coming in and being a long-term replacement, I think problems start to open up. I don't think the quality's there behind those two. And I think that's a problem that we haven't solved. And we haven't learnt from our mistakes last season when we did have to solve it and we couldn't. And Danso was a last-minute purchase. I think he does a job and he comes in, he's solid. He shores things up. He goes and wins the ball, but he's not a long-term replacement, I don't think.
I would argue. Sorry, Craig. I would argue, Jamie, that Danso looks better under Frank than he did under Ange.
Yeah, because I think probably Frank say this is your job. So whereas with Ange, I think everyone, which is Van de Ven is another example. Van de Ven's coming in. Frank's going, this is now your job. This is what you do. We want more leadership from you. We want you to be more aggressive. Danso, you just go in and you win the ball and you deal with things. Yes, but is that a long term? If we lose Van de Ven, is Danso going to come in and fill those shoes or Romero?
That for me is the problem because you haven't got. You could say that Danso is not as good as, but a competent right-sided defender. We have not got another competent left-footed, fast-paced defender. If Van de Ven is goes out for any reason, and that's why either an Hincapié or an Indica are the kind of players you need. Because if you played them with Danso as a pair, it wouldn't be quite as good, but it wouldn't be a huge drop off when you've got those two playing. So I think that's something that we needed to fix for a long, long time. And so now that the Lewises have found their way to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and they're no doubt going to go out and fix it in January, aren't they?
Yeah, of
Well, you'd
course.
hope
Yeah.
so. You don't. The thing is, though, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I would suggest Liverpool don't look the same team if Virgil van Dijk and Konate are out. Arsenal wouldn't look the same if Gabriel and who's the other one, Saliba. So if any team has got their first two centre backs out, the people they're bringing in, perhaps apart from Man City a couple of years ago when they seemed to have 4 or 5 absolute world-class centre-backs, I think most teams would struggle. And for me, Dan, so like I say, we don't know about Dragushin. He's still a couple of months away from even getting back to his best when he comes back. I've never been convinced by Dragushin, but then again, he's always been playing under a sort of Ange system, hasn't he? So like we've said, playing under this different system could benefit him.
Dare I say it, though, Craig? I agree, but dare I say it, you're talking City and Arsenal, you're talking about, would Danso be a backup centre-half in either of those squads? And would we take their backup centre-halves, would we take them over Danso? Yes. That's what I'm saying. If we're going to start wanting to push consistently to be in the top end of that and compete with these teams, Danso's third or fourth choice in a Man City Arsenal setup. Do you know what I mean? So we're going from Van der Ven and Romero, for me, they are pushing to get in both those teams. Van der Ven, I think, walks into both of those teams there. I'd have him over, especially those two down the road. But you're going Danso. Is it where does Danso fit in that? And he's our backup choice. So we're losing 2 world-class centre halves, and we've got. I love Danso. I think he's limited. That's what I'm saying. I think he does a great job every time he's come in. He's put in a full shift. He'll go and put his head on anything, but he hasn't got the quality. So the gulf in us losing our 2 centre halves, one of our 2 centre halves, to drop down to the next, which is Danso, because Dragoshin's further down, is massive and bigger than those teams I think you've mentioned, because they've got big youngsters as well coming in.
It's a quandary, isn't it? It is. I mean, I would argue, is there other areas of the pitch we could do with spending money on before the centre-back issue? I would personally think, I know somebody said I was being a bit harsh on Odegaard. I didn't think he had a quality game. He was okay today. That's what I'd say about Odegaard. He did okay. He's probably the best in that position we've got. But then again, Johnson can come in and get you goals. But I know Brennan Johnson has his people that he gets criticism as well. I still think that left wing slot is open for. I still think it's up for grabs. And Jamie, just stay with you for that. You said you thought Odegaard, was it you that you thought Odegaard was decent today? Has he done enough for you that he's claiming that spot as his own, or do you still think we need to go out in January and look around?
It wasn't me that said that. I think it might have been Side, but just to Side was talking about the left-hand side. No, I think I was really excited about Odegaard when we first got him. I thought he was excellent, and I think the injuries, he's not really recovered. He's not recovered his form since the injury. So for me, that left-hand side, it was a problem last season, and we had one of the best in the world, but his form was dipping. Their Son's boots are big shoes to fill, but I think they're easier to fill right now because he was dropping off. But I don't think we've got the answer just yet. But I don't want to be negative. I think there's a lot of positives, and I think we've got options. That's the beauty, I think, of our squad now. We do have options. I don't know if Tell can eventually. He's not a centre forward. No. I know he's got his goal today, but he's not a forward. I don't know if he's the answer on the left, but I think we've got options to try. Do I think Odegaard's worth sticking with for a bit? Yeah, probably, because I do think there was, before his injury, I think there was signs of a really, really good progressive player.
Can I come back, Craig? So I said about Odegaard, I thought he did have a really good game today. That's just my opinion. But there's a one-word answer to the solution before we move on to other things, and the word is Semenyo. End of.
Yeah.
Yeah. That performance. I don't know if anybody watched that last night, the Bournemouth Fulham game. He was different gravy, as they say. He was. We should have paid the money in the summer. I personally didn't. I'd obviously seen him play before, but I've really watched him this season because we was heavily linked with him, and he is phenomenal, isn't he? So he's just.
But look Look what he did to us at not last season and this season at our stadium. The guy's just quality, and he's added the one thing to his game that maybe he was a little bit criticised for last season. He's scoring goals. But, that comes with age, maturity and time in the team. So he is the one-word solution. And again, I'll still go back to my point. If we found this pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, you go and buy players like that, Prem proven, ready to go, doesn't need to acclimatise to the league, straight in there. And then for me, keep working on Odebear, keep him going. And I think he's a decent understudy to a Semenyo. So, but if Odebear carries on like he did today, I'm more than happy that he has that position for the short-term future.
It's madness that we went and spent that money on Tell when Semenyo's there, ready, and was up for coming, from what I understand. And then we've gone and spent all that money on Tell, who didn't do anything to prove or disprove. Here we are, still having the same old conversation.
Well, as I said, now we missed the Levy out of the way. If Enoch are going to put their money where their mouth is, then we've got to do something, whether it be January or next summer. So we will see. We don't know the answers to that yet, do we? A lot of people will say nothing's going to change, but I do think that Daniel Levy was the blocker to a lot of these things. So let's see how and if and when things change. Just talking about our man of the match there, Mohamed Kudus, game by numbers, you can see on the screen there. Absolutely fantastic performance by Mohamed Kudus. 4 touches opposition box, 3 shots, 2 shots on target, 2 tackles, 1 chance created, 1 goal, 1 assist. The first player to attempt 6+ take-ons in a Premier League game this season and complete 100% of them. Absolutely brilliant by Mohamed Kudus. First player to win 50+ duels in the Premier League this season with 57. Absolutely phenomenal display. Right, let's get on to talking about the game, Darren. Let's just get the lineup on the screen here. Bear with me a second. So we got for Tottenham, we had Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, Betancur, Paulinho, Kudus, Simmons, Odebear, Tell. What did you think when that lineup came out?
Yeah, again, as I said before, a nice sort of defensive shield in front of the back 4. Gave Bergvall a rest. Obviously, with some of the team picks itself, because Maddison's injured and Solanke's injured. And he was giving Spence a rest. I mean, like I said, I don't want to repeat myself, but he's chopping and changing. I think he's still defined his first 11. I don't think he's, aside from our injuries, knows what. But, I mean, we're away at Leeds, and they're a good team. So I was happy with that. It was nice to see Tell in Simmons in a number 10 to have that playmaker role. And I thought he did all right. I didn't think he was amazing, but you could see what he was trying to do. He was coming over to the left as well and trying to find spaces. I don't think that's a bad lineup. And as I said, I like the idea that Udogie comes in for Spence and plays really well. Paulinho, what a signing he's been. There was one moment where he cleaned a Leeds player out and then made the diving gesture. I thought, you cheeky bastard. You just literally taken his legs off. I think he's fantastic. Betancur, he was all right today. I think someone said in the comments, he sort of tends to go side to side. He's okay. I don't know whether he's gone off the ball slightly. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. But by and large, I think that was I was happy with that, and nothing jumped out at me of being like, "Oh bloody hell, what you doing?" And Kudus was an absolute baller. There was a really nice profile I shared with the group on YouTube, and he just loves to get stuck in, and he used the word entertaining. He said, football's a game about entertainment, and that's what he likes to do. And he's a phenomenal player. In answer to your question, I was happy with that. I think Frank, like I said, is still yet to find his perfect 11. But, we start getting our players back and they'll sort of pick themselves, I think.
Indeed. Well, the bench actually, first time in a long time, actually looked quite strong for me. Bergvall, Danzo, Davies, Gray, Johnson, Kinski, Sarr, Spence and Richarlison. And, of course, we all know the injury issues Spurs have got, like some Maddison and Kulusevski still to come back in. Takai we haven't even seen yet. So, and I've Dragusin, I've probably missed a few as well. So yeah, that squad, he's gonna have nice problems to have, I think, Thomas Frank, hopefully come later in the season. So what did you make of the lineup? Any surprises? Anything you would have changed?
Not for me. I would have gone with that. I probably would have lined it up a little bit differently, but I'm totally happy with it. I think that's probably the best 11 we could have started with. So I was happy with it. And I'm actually, you have to, because of the issues we've got with the forwards at the moment, would it have benefited us to, run Richarlison into the ground? And the other thing as well, I think that people kind of miss out with Tell a little bit, was that he did an awful lot of closing down, chasing and pressing. And I'm not sure Richarlison's been on his game with that so much, but I think that's come because he's being overplayed. So I don't think his energy's that great. And I just want to put a shout out to a guy called Renegades in the chat who said, kudos is Dembele with recreational pharmaceuticals is all I'm going to say. What a talent, but a shout out to him, because the guy, once he's got in front of you and got that ball, you cannot get him off it. You just can't knock him off of it. He's powerful. He's got a reasonable, strength and a low center of gravity. But he's really good. But no, for me, the starting lineup was right. And I think that, when you're going to hostile places, whether people like him or loathe him, sometimes Bentancur is the guy to play there because he won't get intimidated by the atmosphere. He'll just do what he needs to do. And also, I think with someone like Archie Gray and linking that to the comments that Thomas Frank made about him yesterday, he does have the potential to be a Rodri or a Declan Rice. In my mind, there's no doubt about it. But we've got to nurture it in him. Thomas Frank and his coaches have got to develop him to achieve that. So just at the moment, if you're going away from home, hostile atmosphere, putting Paulinho and Bentancur in front of the back four, if you're going to go with a back four, for me, don't have any problem with that at all. And I didn't have a problem with the lineup.
Well, Yang Min Hyuk has just scored again for Portsmouth, so he's on a mini good run, isn't he? 2 goals in 2 games for Yang. Yeah, absolutely. Good to see that. Jamie, just coming over to you. Anything you want to comment about the lineup today?
Not really. Only maybe in retrospect, I maybe would have. There's an argument I might put Sarr instead of Bentancur, just because I highlighted earlier. I love Bentancur, and he's so. My little boy calls him smooth. He's like, Bentancur's so smooth, and he is. He's very comfortable on the ball. I just felt we invited a little bit of pressure on at times because of those two, that defensive setup, and it would have been nicer at times to have Sarr if he's going to carry the ball and we're going to, turn things around quicker, put them under pressure, take the pressure off us a little bit. But I certainly didn't see the lineup and go, why is he doing that? I think that we're in a good position where we can mess about, play different formations, get set up. As I just said, is a hostile place. I can totally see why he's done that. And talking about Kudus, I've got to talk about Kudus. Kudus and Paulinho, I think the rest of the Premier League / European leagues must have had their eyes shut or been on holiday, because how the hell have they let those two players slip under the radar? Because Paulinho's up there with Rodri for me. I think he's on recreational substances. But yeah, Kudus, but what a player to watch. What a player to watch. And, you can't knock him off the ball. There was a couple of times he cut inside today. He's going to draw. He's a finisher. He's awesome to watch. A proper Spurs player. And we got him from West Ham.
It's even better, and it is even better. Yeah. And I've said this before, that you always know when you're getting a good player, because the fans of the team we've bought from always play it down and say, he's not very consistent. Blah, blah, blah. I knew he was. I think we all knew he was. I just didn't realise how how good he actually was.
Well, because last season he got sent off against us. Last season I was there, and he got sent off, and I thought the season before everyone was talking about him. And then last season he didn't have a particularly inspiring one, did he? And he got sent off. I don't know what the fuss was about. I think he played up front against us, and it was like, yeah. So I wasn't, I didn't know what to expect. And then I saw him in the PSG game, and I was like, oh my God, what? It was worth the wait for West Ham to very kindly allow us to do business with them after all this time.
Jamie, did you see the absolute hug that Frank gave him? He grabbed him. And
yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And Paulinho, my little boys, I coach my little boys team, and we were watching a bit of a reel the other day that came up, and my little 9-year-old turned around and went, Daddy, but you always tell us not to dive in. I was like, yeah, but if you can time it like that, then you can dive in all day long, because he literally leaves the ground.
Yeah.
And he does pick up a booking, but 9 times out of 10, it's an absolute worldie of a tackle. And when you got that sitting in front of that back four, those 2 centre halves, and you got that protection, it's what we've been lacking. And he doesn't mind getting forward. He gets chances. He will get. We've just got that absolute brick wall, which is an amazing thing to build on.
With Paulinho, he has actually won the most tackles in the Premier League to date this season.
Yeah.
He's above everybody else.
Yeah.
So, backs up your point, Jamie.
He moves. He gives the boys comfortable, like he can play. He's not just in there to bust things up. He can get us turning the game around, which is why I said I think maybe Betancur now uses this as an opportunity when he's there to go, well, I'm going to start being a bit more progressive maybe and start, playing forwards a little bit.
Yeah, he reads the game so well, Paulinho. He always seems to be in the right place at the right time. A bit like people called it the Kante role years ago. He fits that mold brilliantly. Amazing to me he didn't get in the Bayern Munich team, to be honest with you. But then again, they have got superstars all over the place. I have to say congratulations to Richarlison, somebody who gets a little bit of stick from time to time on these podcasts. He's become the 5th Brazilian to make 250 appearances in the Premier League. He's behind Willian, Ederson, Fernandinho and Firmino. So that's good for Richarlison. Shows how long he's been around. You don't realise how long he's been around, do you, Richarlison? Darren, coming around to you, let's get into the incidents. 7th minute, Roden hits the post for Leeds. I'm not sure what Vicario was doing. He was in total no man's land for that one. What did you make of Guillermo Vicario today? Because I thought he was bit dodgy at times.
Yeah, that was bizarre. He sort of came out and flapped and was nowhere near the ball. I mean, we were bloody lucky. If that had gone in, he'd have been, I don't know, he'd have to explain himself. I'm not sure what his thinking was. You're going to talk about the first goal. You've asked me about Vicario, so I do want to entertain it, if that's all right. I'm in two minds, because you were saying that your son's a goalie and he was shouting and screaming at the TV with the deflection. And you said that is exactly what goalies are paid to do. They literally do that. Or I think it was Josh who said they're literally paid to do that. If it's deflected, they used to call it, I'm going to show my age now. They used to call it the Joe Corrigan test. Do you remember that, Craig? Do you remember that?
I do. You're going back a bit there.
Sorry, guys. The Joe Corrigan test, where you up, then left, then up, then right, and that is what he's paid to do. But it came so fast. I'm not sure what else he could have done. If you're not going to catch, you meant to absolutely palm it out so it goes off the pitch. I'm not sure what he was doing with that first goal. I really don't know. Can you ask me something? Because I put it in our chat and no one asked me. Why is Mickey taking goal kicks? What is the logic?
Yeah, that was a weird one.
I can't. I think, well, they're doing it in the week because if a defender takes them, he's just going to knock it sideways to the keeper. And I don't know why they would do that, but it's kind of like a tactical thing. Why Mickey was taking the long goal kick, I guess they were using it as a surprise. So they think they're going to go short, so it brings the other team on, and he actually goes long. But we did it a few times today, Darren. You're right. Whether it's Vicario's carrying a slight groin in, it's usually a groin when they can't kick it very far. I don't know. It's just a guess. I don't know is the answer.
He did a couple at the end of the match. He did a couple of kicks at the end of the match, but for the most part, Mickey came came back and took them. I don't understand that. Yeah, I've always thought that Vicario was a really, really good goalie, and he seems to have gone off the boil, and I'm not sure why. I don't know what's happened. It's not like he's had an absolute stinker of a few matches, but I'm not sure why he's gone off the boil a little bit. I don't know whether he's lost a bit of confidence. I don't know. You never understand what goes through players' heads. We're not professional footballers, but first goal was a bit bizarre.
It was, and Si, coming around to you, on 10 minutes, Palhinha fired over. I've written down here every threat for Spurs goes through Mohamed Kudus. I think we've spoke about Kudus a fair bit. Everything did go through him that was any good today. A bit through Javi. I think he's growing into it. A couple of, dodgy moments for him. Like people say, I kind of agree with Jamie what he said about the Rabona thing. I'd love to see players try that sort of thing. It was in the right area of the pitch, but Romero was going absolutely Garrity at him because he was in a load of space. So I would imagine his captain was quite upset with him for that. On 23 minutes, I talk us through this goal. Matisse Tell, somebody again who's had a fair bit of stick. I tend to criticise him a bit, but it was a great goal from Tell. Really good assist from Kudus, and I don't mind that at all because Kudus is in my FPL. So thank you very much. I'll take the points for that. The strike took a deflection, but it was a great goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a fantastic goal, and you got to give the lad credit because he ran in behind. If you look at his position there when he started, great ball from Kudus, but he's Tell's on the turn and going into the space. And the thing I love about Tell with his finishes when he gets it right is he needs so little backlift to get the power in the shots he does. And if you kind of look, he was aiming it to the far corner and it got the deflection and came up a little bit. But I think even if it hadn't got the deflection, I think it would have been close to going in the far corner anyway. But the power on it was absolutely superb. And I think, it's just little moments like these. All right, he got the luck and it went in the near post rather than the far post. But any goal for a player that was maybe feeling the pressure is good for him because it just takes that pressure away for the next chance. And I think one thing he has been guilty of is rushing chances when he's had time to think about it. And how many players have we said this about? I'm not going to mention any names, but when he doesn't think about it and he just does the natural thing, like gets the shot off there at pace without, the backlift, etc., he's brilliant. And if you see some of the goals he scored for the France under-21s, they're all kind of instinctive finishes where he hasn't got the thinking time. But I think Thomas Frank will coach him to calm down that little bit, and I think he'll be all the better for it. And another thing as well, excuse me, the lad does take penalties, so he's obviously got the temperament and the calmness to do it. So he just needs to bring that into open play rather than just the penalty spot. But I love the fact the way he gets shots off with so little backlift. That's a talent in itself. So yeah, fair play to him. Good ball by Kudus, good finish, deserved it for his run and his industry for me.
Yeah, I personally don't think he's a centre forward. I'm not sure where his best position is. I'll probably say on the wing somewhere, whether it be on the left. But he's only 20. We've all got to remember that, me included. I do like his passion, Matisse Tell. He is a fighter, isn't he? He wants to prove himself. He wants to. Yeah. He obviously wants to be in that. Say to Thomas Frank, look, you should be picking me over Odebear to go to the left or whatever it is. But
let's not forget as well, Craig. Don't forget as well, Craig, he did stand up last year when Ange was getting the abuse. So, that's all character of a 20-year-old lad that's probably beyond his years. So I think there is a player there to be developed. And for me, I could see him being, the player that sits behind Kudus coming in from the right at the moment, or the backup to Kudus. But, Thomas Frank spends more time with him than we do, so he'll know what his position is going to be in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie, coming round to you, 26 minutes, Spurs let off after Bentancur dwelled on the ball. Calvert-Lewin fired over. What did you? I thought that was just a genuine mistake from Bentancur, just dilly-dallying on the ball. What did you make of Bentancur today?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've touched on it. I think he's, I think he's a top player. I think he's a top player, and I don't think he's reaching his potential. I think in that setup, I don't know if that suits him when he's got, or whether he's been given permission, whether he's told to stay and sit. I think he's better when he's pushing into gaps, when he's pushing into holes and trying to play forward, trying to create. He's so comfortable in possession and he's comfortable in tight areas. I think he should be given, particularly with Polina next to him. I think both of them are capable of carrying the ball forward, but I think Bentancur is able to turn us around quickly. You know, he's capable of a defensive split and pass. He can play Kudos, Simons in really quickly, and I think that's what he should be encouraged to do. Which I think if you then play Sar's maybe going to do that. Sar's always looking to carry the ball. So for me, today I thought he looked a little bit betwixt and between. I don't think he quite knew what sort of role he wanted to play at times, and that's evident when players like that are getting caught in possession. Players who are so comfortable with the ball at their feet and in tight areas, when he starts getting caught in possession, it's because he's not quite clear on what he wants to do. For me, so I think we need to use him slightly differently if that's the setup we're going to go for.
Yeah, well, of course, he signed a new deal this week. Rodrigo said, I feel really good and I'm very happy to continue my story with this fantastic club. My family are happy. I have fantastic friends and my teammates who work hard every day. I love this club and feel really good here. Winning the Europa League was a fantastic moment and we want to build on this now to win more trophies. We have a new head coach, a new captain, and I want to enjoy many more years at the club. And Thomas Frank said, I'm extremely happy that Rodrigo has committed his future to the club. It shows his belief in what we are building here and that we are starting a journey which we really hope will be really, really special. Rodri is a big part of that. He's a fantastic midfielder who can dictate games and be the glue that holds the team together. He also has the ability to arrive in the penalty area, create goals and score them too. So, yeah, let's hope there's better things to come from Rodrigo.
So just on that, right. So just on that, he does have the ability to arrive late in the box. He does have the ability to create. He does, but I think in his role today, we're not seeing that. So that's where I think something's got to change for him. If he's not in the side or he's not in the squad, we miss him like massively. We have when he's been injured. He's a top player, but I don't think we're utilising him in the right way at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, Jamie. Absolutely agree. Darren, coming around to you. Kudos fired over Spurs on 27 minutes. And then the incident you were talking about, let's come to you for this, the Okafor goal. I wasn't sure about this myself. I thought Vicario could have done a little bit better pushing it out. Some people will disagree. Great layoff by Calvert-Lewin, and Okafor ran onto it. Okafor didn't run onto it. He actually scored the goal, but the shot came in and Vicario palmed wide and Okafor tapped in at the far post. So what are your ultimate thoughts on this goal, Darren? Should it have been stopped?
I'll tell you what my initial thought was. My initial thought was, I don't know what more he could have done. I mean, I guess if you're a goalie, you're training for shots like that day in, day out, he could have pushed it away from the attacker. He could have tried to get it out. He could have tried and put some distance. But, I mean, it was such a fast move. I'm not sure what more he could do, really. I know these are still images, but, you know, it's all flash in the pan stuff. So, I mean, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. I know others would say that it was bad keeping and that he should have either got it well clear or got the rebound, but I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt here, and I'm going to say I don't really know what more he could have done.
Yeah, I'm probably a bit more on the fence. I'm probably leaning towards. I know it took a deflection. It's always difficult for the goalkeeper when it takes a deflection. So he on another day that would have been palmed to defend and the defender clears. But it's I don't know. Get down in the comments, everyone watching. Let us know what your thoughts are on it. I know a couple of people think it was bad goalkeeping. A couple of people agree with you, Darren. It's a difficult one, but hey, at the end of the day, we won the game. So
can I make a point? Can I make a point on that? Can you go back to the pictures in order that you just did? Right, just want to point something out. Right, look at Pedro Porro there. He's got Okafor in his sights. Go to the next one. Now look, he's got round the back of him. Now look again, the next one. He hasn't reacted. Yep. That bloke's run off him. That was what I was saying about players getting round the back, and you've got to be aware because let's just say Porro had reacted as quickly as Okafor does. He puts that out for a corner, doesn't he? If you're ready and you're ready to react. So I don't think Vicario can be blamed for this one. So you run the three through, sees him, next one, he's going around the back of him, third one, he's 5 yards away from him, tapping the ball in the net. That to me is not good defending, but that's just my take on it, mate.
If you really want to be if you really want to be picky, I don't know the player's number, but you can see on the edge of the box the Leeds player. I think must be the one that takes the eventual shot. I think that's Paulinia to his right, but there's nobody, he's got loads of space on the edge of the box there. And of course, he's had a shot by the time this picture I'm showing has happened, but that could have been blocked. So they won't be happy, surely, that the player's got that much space on the edge of the box.
That's exactly what I said at the beginning of the show, Craig. That example there is a prime example of, I don't know why Paulinia didn't close him down, but you can't give someone that amount of space at the edge of your 18-yard box. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. But we went on to win the game. So, frankly, Chris 61, bad defending and goalkeeping. Yeah, everybody's got different opinions on this one. It's, as I say, we went on to win the game, so perhaps they'll definitely look at that. I agree, Si, though, that if Porro had, he's ball watching there, quite frankly, so should have done better. So let's come around to you. Actually, 38 minutes. Longstaff shoots over for Leeds. I mean, Leeds had a fair few attempts from distance. A lot of them went over today, thankfully. Yeah. 45 minutes. Betancur fired over for Spurs, and 45+1. Tell hit the bar from an Odebear cross with a header. Good attempt, but obviously didn't go in. Coming into the second half, great ball on 48 minutes from Tell to Simmons. So talk to me about Javi Simmons. We mentioned this Rabona he did. That was this move I'm talking about. What's your opinions on that? Was he just trying to be a bit too clever there, or do you like to see players try that sort of thing?
I love to see players try that sort of thing, especially if it's in the opposition half. He's trying to be creative, and he did that lovely little flick over the player when Porro fluffed it when it come through. That's what you want to see from your creative players, isn't it? You want to see them doing the stuff that others can't. And I think him playing in the 10 today from the start, and, the way that the team was kind of built around him to allow him that flexibility. Yes, he did favour the left-hand side when we were out of possession or just getting possession. But, I want to see that. I'm an old fart, and I remember the Hoddles and the Gascoignes and players like that. That's what I want to see from my creative players. I want to see them given licence to do the stuff that other players just can't. What would we all be sitting here and saying if that Rabona pass had come off? We'd be waxing lyrical about it for the whole of the international break, I would imagine. But I want to see it, and I thought it was his most effective game today. But for the people that are kind of looking at saying we can't have Paulinho and Bentancur in the team. But at times that can work if you want to give a player like Xavi the license to go and do, the clever stuff, the creative stuff. And let's say for me, I want to see him in the team. I want to see him do that. And, more may it continue.
I was of the opinion, I thought it was... I was a bit frustrated with him, to be honest, because I could see where Romero was, and I thought a better, if it was quite a simple pass. What I would say about that as well, Leeds broke up the other end of the pitch, and Vicario had to make an outstanding save with his foot to keep them from scoring. So it's a bit of both for me. Sorry, Darren, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, in response to Sai, there were 2 or 3 moves that weren't just good moves; they were beautiful moves. They didn't result in goals. There was the one that Craig just said, just before half time, a doggy on the left to Odegaard, who crossed for kudos when he hit the bar. That was beautiful. The lovely dink by who was it? Was it Simmons?
Xavi. Xavi, yeah.
Over the top.
Yeah.
There were a few moves, and I was like, oh my God, if that would have gone in, you'd have talked about goal of the season. Beautiful link-up play. Don't forget, we're 7 goals in, 7 games in. It's a new team. They're all trying to get to know each other. You know, Simmons has had 2 seconds. You know, Kudos is a new signing. So I think this bodes really well. I think to go and win ugly at Leeds, I think is great. And I think there's a lot more to come. The more I think about it, it's exciting. You wait till we get those players back. We're going to be kicking ass. Absolutely kicking ass.
I have to agree because we still haven't seen Muani really. He was on for about 15 minutes, and that's it. And Solanke we ain't seen. So there's a lot to come. They're going to feel a lot of new. Well, they aren't. Muani is of course a new player.
Yeah.
Jamie, let's come around to you. Talk about the Kudos goal on 57 minutes. Talk us through this goal. How good was this?
Yeah, it's Stills, isn't it?
Yeah, Stills. Mate.
Yeah, I mean, it summed it up when they've gone to the fullback and he's literally head in hands going, what just happened? He's just, he's literally left him with twisted blood, hasn't he? I mean, he's come inside and he's such a powerful runner. And when he's got the momentum and then, he does what you tell the kids to do. He's gone back across the goalkeeper. It's just a brilliant bit of play, really positive, great finish, and he thoroughly deserved it with his performance, and what the exciting thing is, you're looking at that and you're going, it's not a one-off. He's capable of doing that in every single game. Every time he gets the ball, he's got that thing about him where you're like, something's going to happen. So we mentioned Dembele earlier, but I think Dembele's a legend and a very, it's unbelievable to say he's underrated because he's such a good player and he's one of my favourite ever Spurs players. But Kudos is Dembele, but he's got that flair. He's got that little bit of unpredictability, a lot of unpredictability.
Yeah.
So, Dembele didn't do enough of what Kudos does. Dembele had the potential to go on, and if he didn't get enough goals, if you're going to criticise him, Kudos is going to get a lot of goals. He's going to create. Every time he gets the ball, you hold your breath. He's got that. He's just a joy to watch. Worth absolutely every penny. And what a finish. What a finish.
Jamie, that goal was a typical Kulusevski goal, wasn't it? He comes in, cuts in, shoots with his left. I mean, we've seen him do that time and time again.
Yeah. 100%. Back across the goalkeeper as well in the corner you're running to. That's such a skill. He's a fantastic player. He's a fantastic. I mean, signing of the. Well, is he signing something? I don't know. But yeah, he's a very. And and I echo what Darren said. When we start getting Madders back to start pulling the strings in the whole Kulusevski, doing that. You got Kudos doing that, and Kulusevski coming through the middle with his energy, his work rate. I'm excited for Solanke, if I'm honest, because Solanke has deserved for the amount of kind of doggy yards he's done for us. With very little reward, under the last manager, and he's running, not getting the service. He must be licking his lips, going, I'm going to get serious service. I'm going to get some ball, and we're going to see if he can, if he can start putting the numbers on the board, because I don't think he's going to have an excuse not to, because he's going to be getting chances.
Yeah, I've just had a thought, actually. I've just had a thought. Sorry, I know we're going through the game. Sorry, Craig.
That's right.
When Decky comes back, guys, don't forget if Mohamed Kudos is going to keep that place on the right. Remember the job Decky did as a number 10. He's fantastic.
That's what I'm talking about. So him going through, because that's where he wants to play. I personally think that's where he's most effective, because I think he gets a little bit readable because he has to continually cut inside. 100%. Whereas when he's playing through the middle and he's driving that energy forward, I think it's some squad that we've got now.
100%.
There's an argument you could say. I mean, I mentioned it the other day put it on the channel actually in one of the videos. How would you feel about pushing Porro up to right wing and pushing Kudus on the left? By that rationale, you could even put Kudus on the left and keep Kulusevski on the right, or put Kulusevski on the left wing, or move Kulusevski to the 10. There's so many options. It opens up so many more options for Frank. And of course, Muani can play across the front line everywhere. I'm sure we'll see that. Solanke's more of an out-and-out number 9, so it's going to be so good once these players get back. Hopefully, very, very soon. Obviously, Maddison is going to be out for a little while, which is bad for him. But I think we're going to have a hell of a squad. And obviously, the January transfer window is just around the corner. So, you know, what sort of business we're going to do there? So it's all looking up. Second in the table, yeah. Right, Darren. Come around to you. 70 minutes. Longstaff shoots wide for Leeds. Leeds start coming back into the game, really pressuring us. Richarlison comes on and Sarr comes on for Tilt and Simmons on 73. Odebear went off on 84. Danso on, and Spurs went to the back three. Were we just trying to see the game out, Darren, at that point? Would you say was Thomas Frank quite happy to see it out 2-1?
100%. And like I said, right at the beginning of the show, I could see exactly what he was trying to do. 3 at the back. Danso comes on, adds some solidity. Sarr shores it up in the midfield. Yeah, I could see exactly what he was trying to do. Kudus, he was going to give a rest. Where are we? Odegaard on for Danso. Yes, right. Simmons off for Sarr. Tell off for Richarlison. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it all made sense to me. And bar a couple of corners at the end, I thought we were very, very solid. Very solid. It just made sense, and I love that, because under a previous manager, maybe he'd have gone looking for a third, and opened us right up at the back. So that it all made complete sense to me. And bloody hell, 6 minutes extra time, then a minute at the end of the for 7 minutes. I mean, Jesus Christ Almighty, couldn't take it. Do me a favour.
It was a bit, wasn't it? Yeah, and like you say, and obviously you're known under Ange. I was a fan of Ange, but I could have Leeds may well have come back into that. And of course, Ange Postecoglou still hasn't got a win for Nottingham Forest. And is he going to make Halloween? That was a discussion in our group. That would be mental, wouldn't it? 3 managers in the first 2 or 3 months, incredible. 87 minutes, Richie shoots wide. 90 minutes, as you say, Darren Johnson came on for man of the match, Mohamed Kudus. And on 94 minutes, great save from Vicario from Pirro. That was fantastic. Si, can you remember that chance?
Yeah, I can indeed. It was, I think it was a bit of a kerfuffle on the edge of the box, and first time strike from Pirro and Vicario. It was a world class save, because it was quite close to him as well. He had to react really quickly. And, that's where he does stand himself in good stead when, again, reactions to shots and his shot saving. I think he is really good. And, just another point to what you guys have been saying, that what you can see with Thomas Frank is the mindset that, if we can win, we protect it and we win, like when we get ahead. And at times, when he needs to change it, he does it. But the other thing he's changing in the mentality is, if we can't win for whatever reasons, we're not playing so well, whatever, don't lose. And if you go through a season where you're turning the number of losses we had last year into draws and wins because of your mentality, you're going to finish, you will be in the tops, up to top 7 in the league. And with a bit of luck and a bit of strengthening, as we all said, then top 4, top 5 is a possibility. But, we do need to get players back. Well, I think the mentality shift is huge. It's huge. So going off the point of Vicario's say, but again, that's a mentality thing as well, isn't it? Because he was concentrating right till the end. So I just think I think it's huge in terms of where we go from here, really.
Yeah, that's right. It's the mentality. You're right. Thomas Frank's come out and said that, actually. And I think in his post-match presser, he said it's the mentality of the club, and it's just changing it. There wasn't too many things he needed to do other than perhaps drop us a few yards, so protect Van der Ven's hamstrings. But that mentality, you would hope, would have changed with that Europa League win as well. that should give them the belief, you would hope. But I think top four's there for grabs this season. I really do. I don't think anybody's really running away with it so far. Right, well, the game ended 2-1, Spurs 1. How good was that, as I say, before the international break, to go in with a winner? We can relax all weekend now, watch match of the day tonight. And well, let's just hope that other teams around us slip up a bit so we can stay where we are.
I've just looked at the scores. I know it's half time, but we're currently third.
Oh, okay. Well, let's hope we can.
What a disgrace! What a joke! Absolute joke!
Fucking liberty.
Well, we're not going to do a Villa preview because it's going to be the 19th of October before we play against Villa at home. So we'll no doubt have shows before then. But Jamie, I just want to sort of close the show with. We spoke about Betancur's new contract. The other news that sort of came out in the week was something the reporters were pressing Thomas Frank for, and that was this new leadership group. I don't know, what are your views on these leadership groups? Because obviously we've got Ben Davies, Guillermo Vicario, Romero, obviously Captain Maddison, and Mickey van der Ven. He said all 5 players have leadership qualities and, crucially, the potential to become even better leaders. They have the ability to speak up on the pitch, in the dressing room and in meetings. However, it's not just about football, it's about people too. They are aware of their teammates, how to make the group function in a good way and how to make the team tick both on and off the pitch. It's important that the whole dressing room is represented in this group. Kuti, Ben, Madders, Vic and Mickey do that. While these 5 players make up the official leadership group, we have a dressing room that is full of leadership potential, and I'm looking forward to more players stepping up in matches and around the training centre. So I suppose 2 questions. Is it surprising there's nobody from the sort of front line in that group for you? And what do you make of leadership groups? Do you think they actually do that much, or do you think it's all a bit of a meh?
I think it feels like you're in some sort of business conference room, and it's like, well, how can we create jobs for people and make them feel a bit more important? I mean, it's just a bit weird, isn't it? Do I need to be told that that's our leadership group? Not really. Do they get more money, or is it more incentive? They should all be. If you're a leader, you're a leader, and I want to see that. I don't need to be told. I want to know who our captain is, what the starting team is, and I want everyone to be putting in a shift and wearing the badge with pride. I don't really need to be told that this is my leadership group. So I don't really think I don't really see the point of it. I don't know whether it's just sort of sound bites in it, really. Making, I don't know. What do I know? Mickey van der Ven was brilliant today, and he was a leader, but I think he's a leader anyway. I've got the still downstairs from I stood above that goal in Bilbao, and I watched him from an aerial point of view clear that ball off the line. If that doesn't show you leadership, then I don't need him to be lined up against the wall with the rest of them to go, this is our leadership team, like it's, some kind of shit business meeting. I think just whatever. Put the shirt on, go and score more goals the other team, win the ball. And that shows me leadership. I don't need to. Yeah, I don't really see the point of it. I don't know. It doesn't really do anything for me.
Well, my youngest, Jamie, my youngest Jess is now a prefect in her primary school, and she gets to put the chairs out and sit on a bench on the back. So maybe that's what.
That's all they do. Yeah.
Maybe that's
Maybe. I mean, it's good. I suppose if you're going to take a positive. I love Ben Davies being in that group because he is a legend. He's never let us down, that guy. He's an icon. He's not going to play much. So, it probably does give him, maybe he cuts the oranges or something after training. I'm not sure. But I think, I think it's lovely maybe it's making people feel included, but I don't really give a toss. It's more about what we do on the pitch. Going to Ellen Road and nicking a 2-1 win, that shows me leadership.
Yeah,
I agree with you 100%, Jamie. Darren, what's your thoughts on it?
He said it all. He said it all. I mean, you've got someone like Paulinho who's literally just walked into the dressing room. He's not in that leadership group, but bloody hell, do you feel his presence on the pitch? My God Almighty! Wow. Yeah. So I mean, with Ben Davies, it's a token gesture because of his longevity at the club, and he knows the club better than anyone, and he's been there longer than anyone. So, but is he going to play as many games? Well, no, he's not. So, yeah, I mean, Jamie said it perfectly adequately. Yeah.
Yeah. Si?
I agree. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd have one, but the only thing that Frank said they do, which I kind of like, is he said, when there's like various little groups that get on, etc., and you've got one from each group that's kind of uniting them and making sure the consistent message goes through. I can see the benefit in that if that's how it kind of plays out. Perhaps the Euro boys gravitate to Mickey van der Ven, and perhaps the Spanish speakers, gravitate to Romero, or so on and so forth. And the English lads, maybe they spend more time with Ben Davies. Who knows? We don't know. So I can see the benefit in that. But for me, captain, vice captain, every player in the squad should be a leader. That's how I view it. I'm very simple.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Yeah. I'm not sure why they've. I think the media were banging on about it more than Thomas Frank, to be honest. I think he's possibly done it just to appease the media, but there you go. Everybody's got their opinion on it. Anyway, so that's it. Spurs win a game before the international break. Yay! 3 points. Fantastic. Thanks for joining, you three. It's been a really good chat this afternoon. Darren, where can people find you and what you're up to at the moment?
So I'm still doing all my voiceovers. I did another in-store ad for Sainsbury's, so I do apologise. I did my shopping, and I heard myself constantly yesterday. It was a bit weird. I've never heard that before. And I just did another one, trying to flog you kids' toys. I think the one I did this week was for kids' toys in Sainsbury's. So apologies if you shop in Sainsbury's. Yeah, I don't really use Twitter. When X and all of that, I don't really go on there, to be honest. So I'm on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. But yeah, just doing my voiceovers and social media, really. So it's all good. It's all good.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us again, Darren. Hope to have you on again very soon.
Thank you,
Si,
mate.
where can people find you and what you've been up to?
Well, you can see it on the screen there. Well, if anybody's in Costa Tequisi and wants to buy me a beer tonight, see me walking around with me grey Spurs top on, feel free to buy me a beer or come and say hello. Happy with that. I motor mouthing on X as usual about all things Spurs and all things that I dislike about the Marxist party that runs the country. Just enjoying life out there, doing a bit of business planning for next year. Then looking forward to coming back and seeing everybody in the stadium again. So, yeah, and come on, you Spurs, as always, and great to be on with you three guys, and look forward to speaking to you all soon.
Well, thanks so much for coming on from Lanzarote anyway, Si. That's lovely of you to do that. And you've probably got better weather than we have. It's very, very windy here today. And finally, Jamie, thanks so much for coming back. We shouldn't leave it so long again next time. We should get you on a bit more regular, shouldn't we? I hope you've enjoyed it. Where can people find you and what you've been up to?
Yes, you should get me on more regular. But to be fair, Chris does ask me, and then I things come up because I've a very sporadic lifestyle. But and he blew me out in Bilbao as well, so he's lucky I'm even coming on at all. He was meant to meet up with me, and he never did. Wow. Where can you find me? So I've been really busy, so I've got a lot of things that are coming out. So you can catch me in the new series of Brassic, which is coming out, which is out now, but I'm in the last 1 or 2 eps of that. I'm currently filming an ITV drama with, I think, Michelle Keegan. I think I can say that. I won't say the name of it, but yes. So that's been sort of keeping me busy. You can find me on Instagram. I don't do X or anything like that. I'll just put a few pictures up every now and again on Instagram, which is the address there, DJ Kenna. And do you know what? I always mean to say on this, that since I've been on a guest on here on and off with yourself, Craig and Chris, that for the last sort of couple of seasons, 2 or 3 seasons, and it's starting to get, when I go to the games a lot, and people start coming up and saying hello, and I love it. So if you do catch me at the ground, which I'll be at the Villa game, I sit in the North Stand, so I'm often up in the top bar of the North Stand, or following James Black around. Then come and say hello, because I love it. Because it's a passion of mine. I'm not an actor. I'm a failed footballer. So Tottenham's my life. You know, Tottenham, I love it. This is my son's bedroom. I've decorated. You know, he's unfortunately caught the virus. But Tottenham's been my life since I can remember. So I love chatting all things Spurs. I love coming on here. You know, we are European champions. I was there in floods of tears from the minute I woke up on the morning, let alone when we won it. So I'm always happy to be stopped in the street by anyone and chat all things Tottenham, particularly at the moment, because I think it's a really optimistic time and a really positive time. I'm not bad-mouthing the last regime because we're European champions, but onwards and upwards. But thanks for having me, as always, and nice to meet you guys.
Lovely.
Craig, can I make one last point? Because you and Chris are so humble for all your work you do. If you like everything that Chris and Craig do on the show, please support them at the Football Content Awards. The QR code is up there because they do a lot for the Spurs community and for us and give everybody the platform to have a voice. So if you can support them, great. And I'm sure it'll be appreciated by the pair of them.
Yeah, thanks very much, Si. Yeah, Chris is obviously on his way back from Leeds. A hell of a long journey, but a happy one today. And no doubt because we've actually, as I'm going to say again, we won 2-1 before an international break. And that's all I can say. What a way to end the show. You can now all go and relax, enjoy your weekend. And as I say, watch Match of the Day tonight with a smile on your face. So thanks everybody for watching and listening. We'll no doubt see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.
Come on.